So the Democrats, if the Republicans are going to play the game of, hey, you can't nominate your Supreme Court justice, we're not going to even give them a hearing. The Democrats need to employ similar tactics. That's the only way that we can have a democracy that actually functions.
Keep it 100, I be feeling like Campbell soup over white rice, baked chicken with the skin on, yeah, Lowry's with black pepper, I'm fully seasoned with laughter.
What's good, 100%ers? It's your boy Dre, and welcome to my channel. Keep it 100, Dre. So the Democrats, they introduced a bill to expand the Supreme Court from 9 seats to 13 seats. So I'm going to talk about why it would be a good thing if they did so, and the potential downsides if they were to do so. So I want to start by saying in 2015, Mitch McConnell and the Republicans, they blocked Obama's Supreme Court Justice nominee, Merrick Garland, for over a year, saying because, oh, we've never put a new Supreme Court seat, a person in the Supreme Court a year away from the election. So they filibustered, never gave a chance for Merrick Garland to be voted on. So, and then in 2020, when Justice Ginsburg died, they put Amy Coney Barrett up, and they had her on the Supreme Court within like 2-3 months. So I want to start by saying that they don't play by the same rules as the Democrats. So I use this analogy. If the Democrats, if they're playing a game, let's say they're slap boxing. Slap boxing is when you're kind of boxing, but you're using your hands, open hand slaps. So if the Democrats are slap boxing, they're playing by those rules. The Republicans bring hammers. So you can't play by the same rules as the Republicans. You're going to lose every single time. If you're slap boxing and the opponent has a hammer, who's going to end up on top? So the Democrats, if the Republicans are going to play the game of, hey, you can't nominate your Supreme Court justice, we're not going to even give them a hearing. The Democrats need to employ similar tactics. That's the only way that we can have a democracy that actually functions. And if, as of right now, the conservative majority is 6-3 in the Supreme Court, and most of the conservatives are young conservatives, so it's going to be a conservative majority in the Supreme Court for decades if this is not done. So I'm supportive of these efforts to expand the Supreme Court because the Republicans, like I said, don't play by the same rules as the Democrats. And the downside behind that could be things like Roe versus Wade could get repealed and become unconstitutional. But other downsides is anytime we get any progressive policy passed, the Supreme Court could just label it as unconstitutional. And the left, the actual left, can never win because the Supreme Court can just say, hey, it's not constitutional, we're not going to allow it. Something like Medicare for all. Or if you were to attempt to ban money in politics, that'd be much more difficult with a conservative Supreme Court. So I support the efforts to increase the Supreme Court justice from 9 to 13. The potential downside behind that could be, right now the Democrats are in power. If they were to increase the Supreme Court from 9 to 13, the Republicans, when they're in power, they could just say, okay, we're going to increase the Supreme Court justice as well. And then when the Democrats are in power, they do the same. Republicans are in power, they do the same, and the court can become a complete farce. That's the potential downsides. That whoever's in power can just decide they're going to increase the number of justices, and that can make the whole thing crazy. But the thing is, you can't, even though there's a potential for that can happen, you can't say I'm going to halt any potential progress because the bad that could happen behind it. Because so much progress is going to be halted by a conservative Supreme Court majority and by the Republicans not playing by the rules. So if you have the ability to expand the Supreme Court, do so. Yes, they may, when they're in power, they may cause some setbacks they may do the exact same thing the Democrats did, but if what they're doing is extremely unpopular, they're going to lose in elections going forward. They're going to get wiped out. They're going to get destroyed. Like, for example, if the left were to get Medicare for all passed, the $15 minimum wage passed, if the Republicans got in office and they tried to get rid of those things, they're going to get wiped out. Because even though something like Medicare for all, it's extremely popular, over 65% of people support it. Once it's enacted, that number's going to skyrocket to well over 90%. And anyone that's trying to repeal it, their political career is done. It's the same thing with Social Security. Social Security is the most popular bill ever, one of the most popular programs in American history. It's a socialist program, by the way. One of the most popular programs ever. And it'd be very difficult to find anyone who does not support it, because it's that popular. So once it was enacted, it's impossible to repeal, because how many people love Social Security? The only question about Social Security is whether it should be expanded, the cap should be raised or not. It's not, oh, should we get rid of Social Security? Should we privatize it? Everybody's like, no. Even Republicans who don't understand the government program say things like, keep your government hands off my Social Security. So this is something that should be done. And if the Republicans were to get into power again, when they do, because Democrats are normally terrible. So when they get into power again, if they were to repeal any popular programs, they're going to get wiped out in the future, and they'd be forced to move to the left. I pointed right when I say move to the left. They'd be forced to move to the left. So I support the efforts of the Democrats to do this if they were to. Now, is it actually in the past? No, it's not. And I'm going to tell you why. Because there's already senators who said they do not support Joe Biden expanding the Supreme Court from 9 to 13 justices. Joe Biden, I believe he created a commission to study this. That's the most neoliberal thing ever, but that's what he decided to do. But now they may take action on it. Now, it's not going to pass because there's going to be senators like Joe Manchin who said he doesn't support that. Probably Kyrsten Sinema. And this was shocking. I remember when Joe Biden was the actual president-elect. He was being asked, would he consider expanding the Supreme Court after Justice Ginsburg died? And he didn't want to answer a question. He pretty much said he's going to cross that bridge once he gets there. And Kamala Harris did the same dance. And that's one question I wasn't upset with him not answering. But ironically, Bernie Sanders said he did not support expanding the Supreme Court for the same reasons I laid out, why the potential negatives behind it, the downsides, that the Republicans could do the same and it would become a farce. So in this case, Joe Biden was, I guess, more to the left than Bernie Sanders on this, with him not really giving an answer, just leaving it up in the air and say, hey, I'll answer that when the time comes. So, yeah, if the Democrats were to do it, yes, there's potential downsides, but the upsides far outweigh what the downsides could be, definitely in the long term. So that's all I gotta say for today. If you like the content, like and subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so you know when I post videos in the future. And that's it for today. There's no word of the day for today. I just made this video really quickly. So I really appreciate you watching the video. I'm Sanders. Peace.
Well, I've been stacking up. Nah, really that ain't accurate, cause I just spent my whole damn advance in the past couple months just to compensate for times we ain't have enough. Woo.